I have got an important message for you today. Maybe one of the most important in a while, but I think there are some things that the times are illuminating that we just have to take advantage of. And one of the greatest issues of the times, and one of the things that I believe we must understand if we're going to understand the times, is Islam. We're going to talk about that. There's been, threats, intimidation, really towards almost anyone who would address this issue. But I tell you, you cannot understand these times without understanding it. We can understand it. It's easy to understand. We just need to make a little bit of an effort. So, with the controversy that's arisen recently about the Ground Zero Mosque, I believe it's a very timely controversy. It's illuminating some issues we need to understand as Christians and as Americans. So I want to talk about the conflict between light and darkness that is these times. And there's always going to be conflict between light and darkness. But we need to understand the light. We need to give our attention far more to understanding the light than we do the darkness. But we also must not be ignorant of the enemy's schemes. Okay? Now, the greatest power of darkness is darkness, keeping us in ignorance, keeping us from understanding it and its schemes. Now, the weapons of our warfare that it says we're given are divinely powerful for the destruction of strongholds. And one of those most basic weapons, divinely powerful weapons we've been given, is the truth. And we're going to speak the truth with boldness and with clarity. I think it's a time for courage. I was told a couple of years ago it's going to take the same kind of courage, boldness, and willingness to sacrifice to save our nation as it took to found it. Our nation is right now under the greatest threat maybe in its history. And that threat is growing. And it's a threat that is coming from within and without. If we do not see it, we will be defeated by it. Now, in Revelations 21, 1 through 8, he says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth." Do you understand that I don't care what we go through in these times, we win? There will be a victory, a total victory, far more of a victory than we could ever comprehend or ever conceive. There will be a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth passed away, and there is no longer any sea. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, made ready as a bride adorned for her husband. That's our primary objective, is to help the bride become ready and to be a worthy bride for her husband. He says, "And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is among men, and he shall dwell among them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be among them." The whole earth is a little speck of dust compared to the universe. But because God himself walked upon the earth, God himself is coming to live and dwell on the earth. It gives the earth ultimate significance and ultimate value. And it is also another profound revelation that its size may not have anything to do with importance. We get that. God himself is going to dwell on the earth. Listen to what he's going to do. "And he shall wipe away every tear from their eyes. And there shall no longer be any death. There shall no longer be any mourning or crying or pain. The first things have passed away." And he who sits on the throne said, "I am making all things new." And he said, "Write, for these words are faithful and true." And these are established by the absolutely faithful words of God himself. This will come to pass. And he said to me, it is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning of and the end. I will give to the one who thirsts from the spring of the water of life without cost. He who overcomes shall inherit these things, and I will be his God, and he will be my son. But you can't be an overcomer unless there's something to overcome. Now listen to his next word. And his promises, all of God's promises, do come with conditions. He says, but the cowardly and unbelieving and abominable and murderers and immoral persons and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars, their part will be in the lake that burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. There is absolutely no place for cowardice in Christianity. Cowards are named as the first ones, above murderers, adulterers, sorcerers, and all these others who have a place in the lake of fire. We absolutely will not be controlled by fear. We're going to live by faith. We're going to live by faith in the one who sits on the throne, who's above all authority and power and dominion. And there will not be cowardice in our camp. It's a time to stand with courage and stand boldly against the great darkness. We will live by faith, not by fear. Now, what is the big deal about this mosque being proposed near Ground Zero? Why is it a major issue? Now, when things like this surface, I believe it's one of the best times to understand some of the basic characteristics of the people. What is agitating the people so much? Why are 70% of Americans against this? Listen, I haven't heard a single one who's against the building of that mosque who's not for religious liberty. This is not an issue of religious liberty. I'll tell you some of the ultimate issues that it is bringing up, that it is causing to surface, we really need to get now. This is an awesome opportunity, and we need to get it. It's not about freedom of religion. Listen, we hear all the time, we have freedom of speech, but that does not give you freedom to yell fire in a crowded theater. There is a limit to our freedom of speech. When it hurts other people, when it wounds other people, when it endangers other people, there is a limit. There's a limit to the freedom of religion. If you have a religion that threatens other people, that is against the most basic constitutional rights and freedoms that we have as America, no, you do not have a right to impose that religion on other people. Now, there's been a terrible wound from 9/11. It obviously has not been healed. You touch it, there's agitation. It has not been healed. It should not be healed. We lost more Americans from an attack on that day than has ever been lost on American soil before by a foreign power, ever. And it touched some of the very fundamental issues of America. And we've got to understand, one of the basic issues, are we going to live by fear or are we going to live by faith? Terrorism is an attempt to impose the will of a people by using fear to control others with. And we've got to determine we would rather die than live by the yoke of fear. We're going to live by faith, not by fear. We're going to live in courage, not by fear. We're not going to be intimidated. Now, the mission statement on the homepage of the website of the Muslim Brotherhood, the mission statement was to destroy America and Western civilization. Very clear. They were very bold about it up front. I've gone to their website recently, but this was established in U.S. federal court in the case of the U.S. versus the Holy Land Foundation, and it determined the essential facts about the Muslim Brotherhood and about Islam, and the judge insisted that all of these be presented on the court website.